That was Lisa K. Dieter's work. She put that jingle together when I was back at the 98th and Aurora studios here in Seattle. But right now, we do this live streaming podcast from the Seattle Drum School. Welcome to Blues to Do TV. My name is Marlee Walker. My co-host, Bunny Brown, the voice of the American Blues Network, and a recent inductee into the National Black Radio Hall of Fame. Go ahead, give her some love.
Thank you.
And we have a great guest today. We have a couple guests, actually, but we have a great guest. We're going to speak with John Pinetree of the group John Pinetree and the Yellin Degenerates. My favorite new band name, I have to say.
I know.
I've been following you around. I'm
we
like,
have so much fun with that name.
I got to interview this guy. And I actually, anyway, we'll get to the interview in a second. This is a weekly live streaming podcast. You can also pick it up on YouTube later and a few other places. We put it out there in Streamingville. And we, as I said, are broadcasting on Duwamish land in Seattle's Georgetown area from the lab, the little auditorium in the back at 1010 South Bailey at the Seattle Drum School of Music. We teach everything here. Well, maybe not everything, but a lot. We recognize and thank the Duwamish tribe for taking care of this land for centuries, for generations. And we're going to work on that rent party for you. Promise.
Oh, yes.
On it. You could, like I said, watch or listen anytime at youtube.com/blues to do, or just search Blues to Do or the Seattle Drum School. That'll get you there. Okay, now it's not Mother's Day, but we had a fun show last week.
Oh, we had a great show. It was only you and I, but we
But we
cried,
talked
we
about
laughed, we made people laugh, we made people cry. And
Memphis Minnie.
Memphis Minnie and
Gertrude
Ma
Rainey.
Rainey.
We had some fun. So
Mothers
check
of the
those shows
Blues.
out. Yeah, we've had shows since September, so we got a show every week. The blues gave birth to so many genres, and it really defines freedom in America. We're going to talk to John about that because he's in touch with that.
Oh,
He's a vocalist, a harmonica player, a band leader, a songwriter, a father. So we're going to get into that with John Pinetree, and we'll take a moment for the Blues to Do calendar. I don't think we're going to have time for much else. No bathroom reviews, no blues prevention. We'll get those into the next shows, but my phone wasn't working. I need some technical help and a new phone. So, yeah, we're looking for sponsors. All right, you stick with us. We're going to have fun today. As I said, Bunny Bubblin' Brown Sugar, the voice of the American Blues Network, with me today, an inductee into the Black Radio Hall of Fame, the National Black Radio Hall of Fame. Check that. This Blues to Do podcast is sponsored by Mitch's Best Buffalo Sauce. So you tried it, huh?
Oh,
you
man, it's so
scan that
good.
QR code and get your own
And Mitch
directly.
can blow the heck out of a harmonica.
He
Yes,
can
he
blow the
can.
heck out of that harmonica. He's been my guest as well. Mitch'sFoods.com. Very kind of you.
Yeah, no, he's
Harmonica
a
players can
fantastic
be
player.
really competitive. But
No, we all
Very
have different
generous.
voices, and I celebrate that. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. Check out our new website. It's blues2do.org. It's a work in progress, not all done or anything. But as we work on it, you can see we're getting better all the time. That's my favorite gospel
Oh,
song.
yes.
All right.
Like fine wine.
Yeah. A little
We
at
don't
a
get
time.
older, we just get better.
Don't drink
girl.
the whole bottle at once.
Yeah,
Sip on it.
Well, you did for your birthday, but we're not going to comment on that.
Wait now, hold on. All right, so anyway, we'll get into this interview. You probably have some words of wisdom, Mr. Pinetree, because you've been doing this a few years. We counted, I think, 37 years. My first observation of you playing and blowing my mind with your great voice, Wine, Tea, and Chocolate. That was a cool place in Fremont.
Yeah.
That I'm like, I can pay $5 for a pot of tea. I don't have to get drunk. I can watch the music, and that's what I'm there for.
Yeah.
So, I love that little joint, but it didn't last long enough.
No, these venues kind of come and go, and it's I think the restaurant business has got a lot of high turnover anyway. I mean, so.
Yes.
But you popped
Yes,
into
it
the scene over there with Stephanie Porter hosting. Tell me about Stephanie. She's
Stephanie's
influenced
she's
you.
great. Oh yeah, sure. And probably one of the reasons I actually sing and get up and sing and I'd been playing harmonica for many years and primarily just that. Did some backup singing and always enjoyed it. But she came down. It was at Pioneer Square. I think it was back probably 15 years ago. And she came in and did a set with us. And then she invited me to come out to one of her shows. And then she says, "You're going to sing one." So it kind of gave me a little belief. And she's actually come over a couple times and helped me do some writing. She's just a natural born noisemaker. She calls herself. She's amazing.
She is a sweet woman, yeah.
A lot of it is just from encouragement from other musicians and the acknowledgement that you're doing something and that you're pouring your heart into it. And I mean that.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, I think the community lifts each other. I've been in different communities, different blues and jazz communities in Philadelphia and Boston and DC, and Seattle's is a little bit different. It's more of an uplifting, more of a sharing experience. I found the East Coast scene to be a little more cutthroat, which is understandable.
Yes.
But and not to say that I had some really wonderful musician friends back there that I still keep in touch with, and I'm actually doing a show in Philadelphia in June. So, but yeah, the scene's great, and there's just such a strong core of musicians in this city doing every kind of genre, and you can find good stuff going on any night of the week. So
Well, I hear, you speaking of people that you performed with, I got word that you did perform with the Godfather of Soul, James
I
Brown.
did, and what an honor that was. I mean, it was
Tell us
crazy.
that story, yeah.
So yeah, I guess I don't know how much time I guess I could. But so I had initially moved to Augusta, Georgia. I was on the U.S. national team. I was a rower, and I was very serious about that. And we moved to Georgia for the Olympics in '96, and I think it was about '95. And I had not much free time. We had 17 workouts a week, but I had always played music. I always loved playing music, and went down to a place called the Word of Mouth Cafe. You've been there? Yeah. You know David Weston?
No, but
Yeah.
I know the venue.
Yeah,
My dad and my uncle, that's their area. They were
Yeah.
born in Savannah, Augusta.
Yeah. So I lived down on Walker Street, down about just a few blocks from there. Went in on a Friday night and asked if I could sit in, and it was David Weston, who was James Brown's touring bass player for about 8 years.
Yes.
And a guy named Eric Hargrove, who ended up going on and playing with a ton of people, with James as well for many years, and Bootsy and a bunch of other folks. And he sees me come in. I ask him, I got a bag full of harmonicas, and he lets me play on the last 2 songs of the night. True form of smart. He's a pro. And he says, come back next week. I'll buy you a steak. You play a set. I'll buy you a steak. I was happy to have a steak. I was living on nothing, and it was all about calories back then. So it's like, take it in. And, kind of groovy. And he says, you come back next week, I'll buy you a steak and pay you $100. You pay a set. So I just started playing with this group. Nice. And so around Masters Nationals, a lot of people would come in, and James was one of the folks that come in. So I got to do a couple of shows with him. And that was just fantastic. I grew up listening to James Brown. He was in our house.
Mr. Dynamite, he had so much energy.
He was so compact and powerful. And he just had this commanding presence. But what a great guy. Got to spend a nice night, working after we got to put down a bottle of wine. And he gave me some great advice. So, and I say this, and I might have to cuss because I'm going to quote the man.
What did he say? Tell me.
He says, let me tell you something.
That's him.
Yeah. You talk really fast. I'll slow it down a little bit. Let me tell you something. You just make sure you're the least talented motherfucker on stage, and everything will be all right.
That's right.
So from that, you do surround yourself with great people, and I'm super lucky to have a core of musicians in my orbit that I get to work with and collaborate with. So yeah.
Great segue. Tell me about your band. I saw it the other night, and I was very impressed. So tell me about the players.
Well, it's sometimes it's a revolving cast of characters. Musicians need to work, and you call them up, and you have your preferred people that you want to work with. And
especially the best ones. Yeah.
Super lucky. Super lucky it was to be able to have that opportunity and have people that continue to say yes to this craziness this business is, because it's not always you're going to walk away with what you expect to or what you need to get, but the music is what feeds it, and we're all doing it for that reason. So yeah, but I've got this latest album. I had wonderful Bill Ray on drums. Had a guy named Michael Marcus on double bass. My bass player of about 15 years, John Grant, who's just funky as all get out.
Great.
Yeah, solid. He's just like this roadmap. It's just always there. So he's a super solid guy. Eddie Mendoza, I think Eddie's sometimes he's at the kit, sometimes he's at hand drums. He's just so effervescent.
Great energy.
And Tim Funk. Tim Funk's
that is his name, Tim Funk.
Yeah,
and he's a drummer.
Yeah. He lives right here in
Bring
Blue.
on the funk, baby.
Says you're either going to play the bass or the drums. You pick. So
his mom told him. With a name like Funk, you got to use what you got.
So yeah, and I think last I had couple nights ago, I was with Jose Gonzalez, who's a fantastic jazz musician here on the scene. You should check him out. He's got a Vince Guaraldi thing he does every Christmas, plus other stuff. He just did a Beatles album. Aaron Stamen, who's a singer-songwriter, guitarist. Tons, yeah. Just, I mean, it's really nice to be able to pull in Michael Eads. I don't know if you know Michael.
Put all
Eads.
these people on your record.
No. You know,
Almost, yeah.
I had on the album. I can tell you who was on the album. So I did on the first track. I did the keyboards, guitars, vocals, and harmonica, and I had John Grant on bass and Bill Ray on drums. The second track was Aaron Stamen as well, John Grant. I had Michael Marcus in there. So just a bunch of players.
Say, we're not gonna do
yeah.
that.
I know. I could go on back and forth.
But
yeah.
it is impressive, and you do play well with others. Just to put it that way. So you have been able to bring other people into your performance, not just your recording, but your live performance, right?
Yeah, I think. I mean, I've always been a huge fan of jazz and blues and the improvisation that happens on stage and the communication that happens. And I'm a real staunch believer that everyone has a shtick. They have something that makes them special.
That's right.
And I think that needs to be celebrated on a nightly basis. And I like to encourage my guys to step up and the people who are on stage to just let it lay out. Let it out and express yourself.
Let it all hang out.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly.
it's good for you.
Yes,
and
it is.
And for the audience.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
get a lot more out of
Oh
it.
yeah, I mean, you know what you can do, and we're all kind of our style's all kind of really our my style's kind of the limitations that you have. You do what you do, but when you have these other people, it brings you so much more.
That's like when you do Not Your Mama.
Oh, thank you.
And you have different artists come in.
It always
And
makes me
you
sound better.
You spoke on that last week. She said, when they come in, they make me play better. They make me sound better because it's the motivation of having someone there to make you push up to that higher level.
Well, yeah, and it becomes something so much greater because we can, it's any collective effort. Just you can do so many great things.
Yeah, playing music together is the coolest thing I've ever done. So when I had a little health scare a few years ago, I went, okay, more of that, please, more music with other people. So I'm like out of my comfort zone because I'm usually behind the microphone and the glass and all that. But it is the funnest thing. You probably would agree.
Oh, yeah,
Funnest thing you've ever done, right? Play music with other people.
It's so enjoyable. And really, I mean, for me, it's a foundation of my sanity. Just being able to play every day. I've practiced every day for the last about 16 years now. I've done something just like, and been at it for about 37 years. I guess we did the math, figured that out. But,
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, now you mentioned Brooke Lizotte. That's one person I need to get on my show. Jacqueline Tabor. I've had her on my show, and she's awesome. So we're gonna have her back. Stephanie Porter. You mentioned some people that are on the jazz side of things. Would you describe yourself as more of a jazz player or a blues player? How would you describe your music when you're booking your band? How do you put a description to it?
maybe like ADHD on like display. I really do a lot of different genres. It's probably the last 100 years, everything from 1930s jazz, heavily influenced by black artists, by blues, by the bands like War that brought people together.
Oh my, that is one of my favorite groups of all time.
Yeah, and Lee Oscar's a maker of most of my harmonicas, and I could give him a nod because
really?
he's opened up so much.
Fantastic nod out to Lee Oscar.
Yeah.
He was one of my favorites. The harmonica, I think he was a master.
Still is.
Yeah,
The
he's still cooking
harmonica.
hard.
He lives here.
in
Yeah,
the
we got to get him
genre
on the show.
In the 70s when, he brought it back with War. I mean, it was a sound that just blew our mind.
Well, he was it's entrenched with the horn sections and the writing, and he was right there with the lines. And he did so much in kind of, if people in the music industry know probably about open tunings on guitars, he kind of did open tunings on harmonicas, and it just provided so much more color as a writer, as a soloist. I did a version of Spain last night with Donna Dupre. And I was able to pull a couple of his harps out that just made the right color, you know.
Oh, wow.
So,
Fantastic.
yeah, so.
I highly recommend seeing John Pinetree and the Yellin Degenerates.
Can't
Not
wait.
just a fun band name, but we've got some gig lists, and then we'll take a short break and come right back. The 30th of May, a Thursday, it looks like my handwriting's awful, Cellar Cat in Kingston. The Spot in West Seattle, every other Thursday from 7 to 9. You're going to see me there. I'm going to pop over there.
Yes, we'll do that.
On a Thursday night after my gig at Nacho Mama's. Thank you very much. Salmon Bay Eagles, June 8th. And I saw you there. Really enjoyed the full band experience. And that's a free place. If you know somebody, you can get in, basically.
Yeah, they've been doing music down there for 30 some odd years.
Really
and,
great place,
Yes,
for
yes,
blues.
yes.
And they have a big ballroom. We're trying to plan a big event.
Yeah, there's
upstairs.
room to move down there.
Exactly. June 14th, look out, Vin Barrow in Edmonds. That's your town,
That's my
buddy.
turf.
And the Edmonds Art Festival on the 15th of June, the very next day. And the 30th of June, what did I write down, PA?
Oh, I'll be in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's Philly, baby.
So that's your
Hello.
backyard, your hometown, Philadelphia?
I lived in
No.
Philly for many
Madison.
years, and
You're from Madison, Wisconsin. What are you doing over there?
oh, you don't know what a phone is gonna do you?
I forgot to put it on mute.
Thank you very much.
My next venue, that's them probably calling to make sure I'm going to be there.
I
You know how it
see.
is, Marlee.
Yep.
You do it too.
Right. Well, now, let's do the break and we'll come right back. More
Come
with
right
John
back.
Pinetree. Our sponsor is Mitch's Best Buffalo Sauce, and we have a fun audio clip while Christian Cusel.
Mitch's Best Buffalo Sauce. Mitch's Best Buffalo Sauce.
Put it on anything.
Well, the sauce boss says you've tried the rest. Well, you'll be back, cause this one's best. Mitch's Best Buffalo Sauce.
Oh, yeah, Mitch's Best Buffalo Sauce, our sponsor for the Blues to Do podcast, and we really appreciate that, Mitch. Thank you so much. With just the right heat and just the right bite, this rich and creamy sauce made with all real butter tastes great on everything except dessert. Handmade in small batches, it's made like a gourmet French sauce. It tastes great on any chicken dish, including wings. It's also great on any seafood, roasted vegetables, gumbo, can you say gumbo? And many other foods. Available locally at QFC, Metropolitan Markets, Hagen Markets, and most fine meat shops in the Puget Sound area. I've seen it in meat shops in the Puget Sound area. Order directly from Chef Mitch, the sauce boss, at mitchesfoods.com. And I always have a box in my car. If you want to hook up directly, just find me and I'll sell you a bottle of Mitch's for sure. So anyway, we are at the Seattle Drum School, and if you'd like to play here, do a rehearsal, private party, an intimate performance, whatever you need, a birthday party space, we got it. Mojam also does a youth session on the second Sunday, so every month at 3 o'clock, second Sunday. All kind of lessons, like I said. So thanks again to the Seattle Drum School for giving us space. Loveland is the new CD from John Pinetree and the Yellin Degenerates. That just came out in February. Tell me about that CD. That's a lovely, and the CD cover, I know we got some sort of CD cover. Looking like you're, what, 9 years old?
About 9 years old.
About
yeah.
9 years old. We'll get that up there.
Yeah, it was that actually photo just came back into the family. A friend of ours from Colorado sent that to us, a whole trove of these pictures from like 1978 to 1980 of the family on vacation and stuff. Just wonderful. That one in particular, I remember that day because we were in a place called Cripple Creek, Colorado, and we had gone and saw a melodrama, which had a little bit of sexiness in it. And I think I was really coming aware in that moment.
10-year-old, right?
What's going on up here? I like this.
Little horny boy.
What are these body parts? Oh, well, I know Christian's working on that photo. I hope I sent that photo. Anyway, if you want to check it out, the poster that I did for this week's show has a QR code on it. That'll hook you up to Loveland, the new CD. So it's an interactive show. You get to cue up the music at home while we're talking.
That's right.
All right, this is how the new media world, I'm learning. It works differently now, and we're all learning. So tell me about a set list. What's a sample of a set list? Because you do some great material. I think it's unique about your band. Tell me about a set list here.
Well, you know, each room kind of like is an opportunity to like make a little bespoke experience, and you know, I'm moody too, so I want to do this, I want to do that, but I start out, usually I like something alluring. One of my favorite go-to starts is an old tune called Senior Blues, and it's an old Horace Silver tune. And it's just it's for me, whenever I put together a show, I start with my bass player. Like if I got a good solid bass player, I'm happy. And so, the Horace Silver, it's, some of my originals I do. We do, Gershwin, we do old tunes from the 20s and 30s. I've been doing Willow Weep for Me, which is one of my favorites. Some Herbie Hancock-inspired kind of fusion jazz. It's kind of all over the place. It's really, lately my set lists have been, I like continuity and harmonic continuity, so a lot of it is kind of, we play a game called the Circle of Fifths, and my bass player and I are pretty lockstep in, what's going to go on, and we just kind of follow that around and follow feel, and you play the room, but yeah.
Work the room.
Yeah. Now, big influences obviously from Miles Davis, and I grew up listening to Isaac Hayes, and
Oh wow.
and I think
The Black Moses.
yeah. Another funny story about that, but yeah, just these music, soul music, and funk and jazz. It was just on in my house as I grew up with it, so it's just as natural to hear it. Yeah.
Tell me about growing up in Madison, Wisconsin. Do you have siblings? Did your mom play the record player? Tell me about
Well, my dad used to sing in a doo-wop group and kind of R&B and stuff like that. And he was at University of Wisconsin, and it was actually an African Studies major there. And so we had folks at the house all the time, musicians and every kind of people, all the time, which was great. And I never thought anything of it. It was just great music and hanging. And so that was always just, I think my dad was probably my biggest influence. I still have his vinyl collection. We do a Billy Preston tune just about every night, and I love Billy. And that's from the record collection.
In my life with saying like coming home and being around music, especially soul music, all the time, you never knew who would be in the living room. I walk in from school, Isaac Hayes would be sitting there, Dramatics would be there, Lou Rawls, Nancy Wilson, hi, say hi
Lou's
to
one of my
Nancy.
absolute
Go put your
favorites.
books up,
all the cool kids.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But my uncle, he was the favorite. When he came to town, I was happy as a lark.
Oh, he had phenomenal bands.
I'll have to tell you a story of that, about the kitchen window one day.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Well, we live in Edmonds. We'll have to get together over a cup of.
We'll get together, most
Well,
definitely.
so your dad sang. What about your mom? Did she have music in her?
Yeah, it's funny. She never really did anything with it. I remember she used to sing to the radio, and she was locked in, so she had good ear. My grandfather was a band leader. My grandfather on my mother's side also played
Throughout your family, yeah.
barbershop quartet and stuff like that.
Was radio good in Madison when you were growing
Well,
up?
Madison, that we lived there for a few years. I moved around a lot as a kid. I lived in Madison. I lived in Michigan. We actually lived here and down in near Tacoma when I was younger in at University Place. And then most of my formative years were spent in Loveland, Colorado. So and then lived
That's
in.
where Loveland comes from.
Went to high school in Boston and went to school in California at a couple different places. And then when I was rowing and training very seriously, I was up and down the East Coast. So kind of been in a lot of places and always tapped into the music communities in there. So we talked about gumbo earlier, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Mixed bag.
Yes,
And
yes,
it's really a
yes,
celebration of
yes.
my music is just all the musicians I've known and played with and heard. And I really feel lucky to be able to swim in such a deep pool.
That's right.
Amen. I love the sound of your band. I don't like to book bands. It's really tedious work, but I would book your band. It's too much
Do
fun.
it. We are ready to go, man.
I can hear it. Yeah.
We have such a fun time.
You're all dialed in,
Yeah. We talk about this too. Like as a band, we have psychological safety with each other. We like hold each other. We know we're going to be there for each other, and you know that when they show up, they come to do it.
Yes.
And we just give our best representations of what we have and hold each other. So.
I think before we go any further, with our career, especially like being on radio, being in music, you be in a bad mood. We are just like everyone else, but you have to put that aside when that mic opens on the radio because you have to make people feel good with the music. Same thing you're doing on stage. So no matter what we have going on in the background, front and forefront, we must perform.
Yeah.
The show must go on.
Well,
That show must go
I
on.
think, I mean, I see, for me personally, it changes my brain chemistry. Like playing music, the act of doing it aligns the hemispheres in my mind. I've got a guitarist that comes in. He's a neurologist. He's a brilliant player.
I love it.
Aaron, and he came in a couple nights, a couple gigs ago. He looked so tired. I was like, man, is he going to be? And his brain chemistry changed on stage, and he's just throwing down, and so we come together to do that, and it's healing. It's a healing thing, making music, and I think it's medicinal.
You have a great understanding. You also have a perspective. You are 6'7", am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. So from your tall perspective, what do you see? What are you seeing that the rest of us are missing? And you do have the power to speak up, and you do speak up, and I appreciate that a great deal. Please use that First Amendment, or we're going to lose it.
Yeah, exactly. In this time, especially in this time of
Chaos
and this prevalence of white nationalist fascism that's popping up in this country.
Exactly.
I don't want to speak for anybody. I don't speak for anybody, but I will speak up on their behalf. And if I have a microphone, I'm going to say something. I waver sometimes not wanting to say something, not wanting to speak up for people. I have people that I love dearly who are gay, who are black, who are in marginalized communities, and I will not sit back.
You're going to make me cry.
Thank you, me too.
Thank you very much, John.
Thank you very much.
That's for real. That's what music does, and it really does keep your brain in order. I've seen this as for drummers,
crazy,
especially. Yeah, right. So he's a musician on the harmonica, on vocals, on the diatonic harmonica. Not yet the.
Chromatic,
you working with the button?
No.
Not yet.
Someone said, I should learn it. James told me to pick up a chromatic, and I just with the idea of learning a new instrument. That's when I took to guitar.
So you play guitar as well. I was going to add that.
Yeah, that's my major writing utensil, I guess you want to call it. I mean, in Seattle, you can't swing a guitar without hitting another awesome guitarist, right? So, that was never my approach. I wanted to pad what I was doing and create structure and stretch a canvas for what I could already do as a singer and as a harmonica player. So, yeah.
Okay, 3 kids, 26 years with your wife. What's her name?
Emily.
Emily?
Yeah.
Congratulations on that. Your
Hi, Emily.
folks live in Maui, so
They
you
do,
get to
yeah.
visit Hawaii. Aren't you the luckiest
Hey,
guy on the planet?
I am so fortunate. I know I'm
You
fortunate.
just take me with you next time?
Sure, yeah.
All right, I'll do
Yeah.
whatever I can.
Get to do some shows out there, which is fun.
Piggyback on the
Yeah,
trip.
yeah.
Okay, so any other questions? I didn't mention this yet. You opened for Diana Krall, which everybody would give their
Oh, wow.
for
Yes.
that gig.
Oh,
So I mean,
yes.
That just,
Stephanie Porter probably wanted that gig.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people did, and
Tell
and
me
I
how
was
you got that
super
gig,
surprised to
right?
get it. Honestly, I was. It started with an email that I thought someone was pulling my leg. I was like, so I envisioned, showing up like, yeah, just put your stuff in the van. We'll take it to the stage.
right.
But I was talking to the guy who was actually the president of Live Nation, and I wasn't into that that echelon of musicians or performance. I've been on some big stage before, and I've gotten to play with some really wonderful musicians over the years, but that was quite a nod, and it just kind of it was. I think it's hard to kind of backtrack. There was a gal named Keely who'd seen me play, and she recommended me. I think Diana was probably like, she wanted specifically. She asked for a male jazz singer.
Okay.
And I got the call, and I was more than happy to do it. I was able to do that with with John Grant, who initially they asked me to do it solo, and I really wanted to have company. And to have that's a lot. It's a big stage.
Right.
So, but
What stage was it,
and
by the way?
John Grant was there with me, and we ended up doing. It was at Chateau Saint Michel. Beautiful, gorgeous, sunny day, and I had a lot of friends and family in attendance. It was super warm out. We got 4,000 people singing and dancing together, and that's doesn't get any better than that.
Awesome.
Wow, that's a great way to wrap up. I know that we could talk for another hour and really enjoy that conversation,
could.
so I'd love to have you back.
I feel like I hogged all the time.
No, please.
We're going to
come
keep
back.
track of you. Let's see.
Yeah, well-
Other gigs I did mention the 30th of May, a Thursday, at the Cellar Cat in Kingston, at the Spot in West Seattle, twice a month, usually every other Thursday, 7 to 9 p.m. Nice gig. And that's down by the Luna Cafe. I'm going to have to make a note of that. Salmon Bay Eagles on June 8th. Really fun spot there. And I park with my friend Amy, and we walk over because parking is so bad.
Yeah, I think we're going to do little hand carts.
There you go. June 14th at Vin Barrow in Edmonds. Keep a note there, buddy. And the 15th at the Edmonds Arts Festival. And June 30th in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So if people want to keep track of you, they go to your band camp. Or-
Well, actually, it's PinetreeMusicCollective.com.
That's what I
I'm on, all the normal socials with Facebook and
Music
Instagram.
Collective.
Yeah, PinetreeMusicCollective.com.
I like that.
The new album is available. If you go there, there's a listen link, and you can find it. I'm letting it live on Bandcamp. Bandcamp, I'm going to plug for them because the money comes back to you. I could put that on Spotify. Probably will at some point, but from what I understand, you get 1 million people to listen to your tune, and you get $40.
That's right. That's right.
So I'm letting it live there. Friends are buying it, family, other people. It's getting some radio play, and I'm really enjoying the fruits of it. It was a joy for me to make that album. It was many years of putting it off and doing a live studio album.
It's your first.
Yes, my first studio album. So yeah.
Well, we're going to keep an eye on
Oh
you.
yes.
Congratulations. It's like giving birth, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, no, I've seen
That's
that
your-
happen.
that's your first
I've seen that
baby.
happen. That's a different thing.
Can we get Darlene up here for a second? You came
Yes,
all the way
yes,
from
yes,
Houston,
yes.
am I right? You came
This
from
is
outside
by
of-
Darlene. She's called a doll in Texas, and just come in front of the camera, sweetie.
Oh, John, you want to give her a hand? You're such a gentleman. Isn't he? He's a gentleman.
We had a step there. I think I moved it.
Oh, you're so kind. Look at that good man.
No,
We like
that's
that man.
That's a gentleman. Okay.
So tell me, Darlene, how was your flight?
Well,
don't
you
talk
don't.
about
You
the
don't want to
flight.
talk about
Okay.
flight. No. I tell you what, we'll talk about the flight path. Now, that was Marlee's birthday. I've never saw you as loose as you were,
I
and
I enjoyed
I
myself.
I was just overglowed with
Lonnie
you.
Williams was
having
sitting next to me.
and
was
Lonnie
really
Williams
nice.
was there. Darlene got on stage and
Lisa
sung.
was there. We had some fun.
Yes, and how are you liking Seattle so far?
I'm loving it.
You're loving Seattle.
I've never been, and it's my first time down here. And so far, from what I've seen, I love it.
It's a beautiful place.
It is
You
very
know, we're very
beautiful.
proud of ourselves down here
The
in
Emerald
Seattle.
City.
We are the Emerald City.
And you got to sing
Yes.
at the flight
I
pad.
got to see.
That was
I,
fun.
I think we might show up again.
Oh,
next-
good. You're going to stay.
next
And
week.
John Stoudemire on the bass.
Yes, yes.
Just
Yes,
Perry
yes.
Joshua on guitar. Just outstanding
Oh, yes.
band.
Oh, yes.
Andre Williams. Andre on the
Andre.
keys.
Uh-huh.
Just a really outstanding band. He came over and sat with us for a minute, too.
Yes.
But, yeah, that was a lot
Yes,
of fun.
And
what,
the cake.
what do they call themselves?
Italian cream cake.
Oh, that was what it was.
Oh, that,
The
that
path,
was
the
really-
pathogens. No, what do they
path-
call it? They call themselves the
pathologs?
flight pathologicals. The pathological flyers. That's what they now have a name.
That's what it is.
I love the band name.
God. Good.
That's a good one. Huh? Pathological
shot.
flyers. All right, we're at the Seattle Drum School. We really thank you for tuning in. Come down and join us on a Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock. We have fun guests. We had John Pinetree and Miss Darlene today, and we'll have you back. We got shirts.
Purchase Seattle Drum School.
We give them away pretty much.
And, well,
We want you to take a picture in them.
we do need sponsors, though.
Oh, we do like that idea. Yeah, please let us know. Seattle Drum School booking at gmail.com. Whatever your feedback is, we love to hear from you. And suggestions for guests or bathrooms we should review. I did go to the Muse. I've got that one on my phone. I just can't get it off my phone. The Bent Vine Brewery. I've got Burien Eagles, Elmer's Burien. We got a few bathrooms in the can. Did I say that?
Yes.
We have a few bathrooms in the can. So I'll get those off my phone, and then we'll bring them to you. Reason of the week for the blues. We don't like to emphasize the negative, but sometimes, you got to get it off your chest.
Yes.
So whatever
Yes, you
your
do.
reason of the week for the blues is. And do check out blues2do.org. That is our new website. We're still working on it. The more time that I get, I'll go get tickets to give away to you.
That's right.
All right, so bait, motivation. just get a little sponsorship, and then I'll have some time and pay other people to do some of this work, and then I can go get some tickets to give away to you, our live audience. All right, thank you for being here. It's 2024. We're facing the summer festival season and all that
heading
calendar
into
stuff.
Memorial
Right,
Day weekend.
Folk Life is coming up. I'm going to be emceeing at Folk Life, and looks like we just had the Rolling Stones. That was a fun week. Everybody's still getting over that one. Tonight it is, let's see, this week I should say, Cedric Burnside plays Portland and Ballard and Bellingham and Vancouver. RL's grandson, R.L. Burnside, great blues guy. Look out. The Seattle Center is where the Folk Life Festival is. If you haven't gone, it's the 53rd or 4th year. Am I counting wrong? And look out. We got some more great shows in May. Tedeschi Trucks are doing a couple nights at the Paramount Theater. One of the best rooms in Seattle, best venues in Seattle. Deuce's Wild Tour. And in June, Monty Alexander's 80th at Jazz Alley. Now, he's a blues and jazz guy, too, and a great artist.
Yes, he
Remlinger
is.
Farms, right? Parliament, I knew you would know, John. Parliament Funkadelic featuring George Clinton. You mentioned him. Dumpsta Funk opening up. That's June 15th. It might be their final tour.
The Atomic Dog.
Oh, there you go. Robert Cray opens for the Doobie Brothers all summer long at the White River Amphitheater in Auburn on the 15th of June. And we got more. It'll be on the Blues to Do calendar. Check it out, blues2do.org.
Four Tops are coming to Jazz Alley for the old school audience.
You always
the
got that
Four
Jazz
Tops.
Alley hookup. You always
Yes,
get that.
I love the groups that they bring to Jazz
And they have Greg
Alley.
Adams and East Bay Soul every summer, 16 and 17. Make a note of that. You may
Yes,
not know them as a
yes.
household name, but great
Yes.
soul.
And
band.
I must say, I've got something that might give women a little bit of the blues.
Uh-oh.
My personal friend Chaka Khan has announced that she will no longer tour. So if you did not get a chance to see Chaka Khan live, you probably will
I
not.
have to watch the video. Well, bring her on. We got to have a conversation with her.
We're going to try.
Would you?
We're going to try.
Bring her to town.
Yes.
There's a clinic waiting, yes. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. I think that's my show.
Go
Did I miss
Mariners.
anything, Christian? Did I miss anything at all? Oh, he's giving me the thumbs up. So
Go Mariners.
check out our past shows. This is the Blues to Do live streaming podcast. My name is Marlee Walker. Thanks again to CD Littlefield, Christian Sadler, Chandler Dabbs, KZ, everybody here at the Seattle Drum School, Steve and Christy Smith, of course, the most. And it is real music, real people, real stories. Live in the blues until next week. Bye for now. Thank you, John.
Thank you. Go see live music.
Yay. Thank you, John.
Bye.
Thank you.